The following is a quick presentation on how to use the Enerlead data, some stock information, and Salesforce campaigns to help you increase your sales to companies that are oil and gas producers, hopefully being able to take advantage of the uptick in the price of oil and gas. When you look at sales, I just wanted to bring this up real quick. Here's some infographics. It takes 6.2 hours of prospecting to get one appointment, 8 cold calls to reach somebody. Most people give up after 5. So, we're challenged with our ability to get a hold of people. What I did is I came into Salesforce and using the Enerlead data, I just made a quick report and I said, okay, I want to look at spud activity over the last 3 years by year, and I only want to look at oil, and this is for Western Canada, and I only want to look at public companies. So I made a list of these companies here for us to review, and what I can see here is that I don't have actually a total count here, but I've got pretty close to 100 companies in my list here that I could take a look at and start calling. If we go back to the infographics, obviously it's extremely difficult to call all those companies, so I want to then narrow it down to the companies that I think would be the most attractive for me. What I did is I took a couple company examples, and I took Tamarack as an example there on that list. The first thing I see using the Enerlead data is that in the last 120 days, they've been bringing out some crude oil licenses in some of their key operating areas. And then I come down here to a report link inside of Salesforce, and I say, let's go to the stock quote for this company. And then I come over to the financials page. And when I look at the financials page, I want to look at the balance sheet. So that's a nice looking trend on the balance sheet. So there's a potential that they have some money. 2 key things I want to look at is I want to look at the total assets versus the total liabilities associated with the company. So total assets, 553 versus the liabilities of 144. I bring up my calculator and I go 144 divided by 553, and we take a look at it, it's 26%. That's the kind of number when we're looking for a healthy balance sheet, that somebody has about 25% of liabilities versus what their total assets are. That's a company that's going to have extended line of credits, be able to go out and raise some money, those types of things. So what we'd say at this particular point is, yeah, I think this is a good company. This company here, even there is some activity already, so we want to put them on our radar sheet, and I think it's going to increase based on the price of oil and gas continue to go up. I come down and I look at the contacts that I have here, and I could say, well, maybe I want to talk to, I want to focus on maybe calling the Vice President of Engineering, and I can click on Dave's name, and I'm building a campaign for myself. So I went in earlier and I created a campaign called oil price increase, and I'm going to add this particular individual here to that particular campaign. So I'm going to add them to the oil and price increase, saying that this is somebody that I want to reach out and I want to talk to see if I can drive some business. Versus when I come in here and I take a look at Marquee Energy, the first indicator I see is, well, they have no recent activity with taking out new well licenses. And then I come over to the stock quote and I bring that up. And when we look at our stock quote here, I'm going to come over to the financials and then the balance sheet. And then I'm going to come in and I'm going to look at the balance sheet and I'm going to say assets of 217. And then we come down here, liabilities of 145. Bring up my calculator and we'll say 145 divided by 217, and we're going to take a look here, and what we have is 66%. So you can see there's a big difference between the two of them. Out of my list, I may come back if oil prices continue to go up, or maybe they sell some of their assets to improve their balance sheet. I might come back to this particular account, but right now I want to just focus on people that have a good asset base. So when I look at the contacts, I'm not going to add any of these to the campaign that I have. The end result for me is I can go through, it might take a little bit, a few hours to go through the list with this particular model, but that's much better than sending 3 people out there trying to bang on every one of their doors in what they call the spray and pray approach. And then the net of it is I'll come to my contact lists and I'll say, hey, I want to target people that showed up on that list. So I now have a nice tight list for me to go after and say, okay, let's pound into these guys, because I believe that they're ultimately going to be responding to the increase of oil and gas prices quicker. Thanks. If you have any questions, please give Pat Hines a call, 403 472 5799.